What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today I've got a pretty wild theory video for The Flash Season 9. And also, guys, we got a teaser for Episode 2 of Season 9. I'll be breaking that down at the end of the video. So guys, recently we got some new set photos that shows Barry time traveling into the past in Episode 10 of Season 9, and these made me come up with this, I guess, kind of ridiculous theory, but I needed to share this with you guys because I think this would be so cool if it ended up happening. So yeah, guys, I'm going to try and explain this theory the best I can, but yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So let's say that Barry, for whatever reason, in these set photos is time traveling back to the year 2000, maybe for something Cobalt Blue related. But anyways, let's say that this just so happens to be the exact day of Nora Allen's murder. Let's also say that for some reason Barry can't time travel back to the present. So what's he going to do? Just witness his mother's murder again? My theory here is that Barry would ignore the consequences and save her again. Now, that, obviously doesn't make a whole lot of sense because Barry's all about, protecting the timeline and whatnot. But I think, that's just who Barry is. Watching his mother die, he doesn't want to do that. I feel like the consequences of saving his mother would just leave his brain. He would forget about the flashpoint he created in the past and just save her again. I think that's actually possible for Season 9, and I think it could happen just because fan service in Season 9. Now I know what you guys are thinking. Wouldn't all of this create another flashpoint? The answer to that is, at least from what I've come up with, is no, not necessarily. What I think we should see after Barry saves his mother again is what happens in the original timeline. Like we'd see Barry get his powers in 2020, and then start fighting the Reverse Flash, and then in 2024 original timeline Flash would still vanish in Crisis and still go back to that night, and this time Nora Allen's murder would happen. So obviously, guys, in Season 1, the original timeline up to 2024 had to happen in order for, this current timeline we're on now to exist. So I think that, they could show that here. I think that would definitely make sense, and they could say Season 9 Barry is the cause of the original timeline, which in turn caused our current timeline. That's a bit confusing, but I think that would be really cool. Now, there's obviously a big hole in this theory, and that is what would happen to the version of Barry that saved his mother in Season 9. Now, what I think could happen is he could just, become the original timeline Flash and forget that there was ever a different Flash, just like the Flashpoint movie. I think that's definitely possible. Or my theory here is because original timeline Flash would still go back to that night, and Nora Allen would still eventually be killed, and our timeline would be it would be the same. Our Barry would time travel back to the present and be shocked to find out that nothing has changed. I think that would be really cool to see. Now, I don't know if all that would exactly make sense timeline-wise, but I think, just because it's the Flash's final season, it would be a great way to show what happened in the original timeline while still keeping Barry and, our Barry, rather, and our timeline intact. And for those wondering, oh, what about the version of Barry that already saved his mother? Isn't that enough already? Now, right after Season 3, Barry saved Nora. There was another Reverse Flash that came in and killed her. So either Season 9 Barry could help stop that Reverse Flash, or they could go the simpler route and say because of Crisis or because of Armageddon, the timeline was changed. So there's now only one Thawne and one Barry back at that night. So now it would make a little bit more sense. Now, I'm sure that theory was extremely confusing for a lot of you guys, so if you have any questions about what I was talking about, make sure you comment those questions down below. I'll be sure to answer all of you guys. And also, I'm fully aware this might be the dumbest theory I've ever had, but I think it would be absolutely amazing if it happened. And obviously the odds of this actually happening are like 1,000,000 to 1, but I really just wanted to share this with you guys because I thought it would be so cool. Now, guys, we also do have a description for Season 9, Episode 2, titled Hear No Evil. So the description reads, Barry feels guilty for what happened to Caitlin, and Mark comes up with a plan, which makes everyone skeptical. Meanwhile, Red Death looms in Central City and commands that failure is not an option. Joe asks Cecile to make a choice, which leads Cecile to think about the greater good. Allegra and Chester take a step in a new direction. Lastly, old friends pay an unexpected visit to Star Labs. Now, guys, at the start of the description, when it says Barry feels guilty for what happened to Caitlin, I don't think he feels guilty for what happens, after Caitlin gets out of the cryo chamber thing she's in. I think that he's just feeling guilty, about about what she did to herself, like how she got into this position in the cryo chamber, right? Because at this point in episode 2, I still don't think she's going to get out of the cryo chamber, okay? I think maybe episode 3 or 4, something like that, she could get out, but for now, I think that, you know, Barry's just thinking about, you know, what he did destroying all of her work back in episode 16 of season 8, I believe. So I think that's what they're referring to there. But the next part of the description, though, says, meanwhile, Red Death looms in Central City and commands that failure is not an option. Now, we don't know exactly what Red Death's master plan is, but I would assume it would have something to do with the fact that Red Death is building a time machine. My theory was that Red Death would be recruiting villains in the Flash's past, so I think that would be really cool to, you know, start seeing in episode 2. And then toward the end of the description, there's some BS about Cecile, which I don't really care about. And then it says, Allegra and Chester take a step in a new direction. I hope that direction is not having as much screen time on the show. And then lastly, old friends pay an unexpected visit to Star Labs. So who is this going to be? I mean, obviously we know Oliver, Diggle, and Wally are all going to be returning in episode 9. But I mean, episode 2, I don't know who this is going to be. Maybe Jay Garrick. Maybe they're referring to the rogues that are going to help Barry take down Red Death later in episode 5. So yeah, who really knows who this is going to be? I'm really excited to find out, though. But yeah, make sure you guys also comment who you think is going to be those returning characters in episode 2 for season 9, because I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say about that. You guys probably have some good theories about that, so make sure you comment them down below. But anyways, I'd say that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your thoughts on this video down below, as well as your thoughts on all the stuff I went over in this video. Comment your guys' thoughts on my ridiculous theory, and comment your guys' thoughts on, you know, the description for episode 2. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.